Okay.
Hi, I'm Shirley Acheson, and I've been coming to this church for 90 years. I started when I was 6 years old, and my father passed away, and we moved to town, and I started in this church then. And I've been here ever since. I've loved it here, and I'll be passing away from here. So, but anyway, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the history of the church as much as I can remember. And here is a picture of the church as it was before the cyclone came in 1935 and took the steeple right away from it. And then they rebuilt it, and it became the Methodist church that a lot of folks remember.
And you were telling me, if you continue to hold that picture up, you were telling me that actually, if we look at it, the front of that church is actually pretty much right on the
right
street
on the
there.
sidewalk.
Yep, right on the sidewalk where the current sidewalk is. So that empty front lawn that we have now is where the old church was.
Yes, yes, that's right. And it was a beautiful old church, and it had a big stone basement. And we used to have dinners there about once a month, a chicken dinner, and to raise money to help defray the cost of the church. And I used to help my mother when I was younger with the church dinners, and it was lots of fun. And then I became member when I was 14. A lot of the kids my age from school that went to church here, we became members, and I've been a member since I was 14 years old. And I used to love coming to church. Now, not a lot of kids did, but I like coming to church, and it was something we did every Sunday. And my mom played the organ, and it was a regular pipe organ back then. And I remember one thing that my sister's girlfriend, we always used to wear a hat. Wore a hat at church. And my sister and all of us sat in one place, and this friend of my sister's, she decided she needed to blow her nose, so she blew her nose, and she had her veil coming on down, and she blew her nose through the veil, and we started snickering, and my aunt in front of us, turned around and gave us a dirty look, so we had to keep our smile, our laughter quiet. So, but that was just one of the things. But another thing, when I'm talking about the church itself, but that's when I became a born-again Christian, if you want to call it that. Some people shy away from that name, but I was sitting in the back part of the church, and it was all packed. I was sitting back there, and all of a sudden I was picked up and taken down the aisle, and we had a minister from Texas. He had a great big Texas gallon hat, and he was with Pastor Fred, and I knelt down, and Pastor Fred said, "What can we do for you?" And I said, "Well, I would like to be more like Jesus. And from then on, everything changed. I had led many people to Christ, and we used to have a meeting once a week, and it was very interesting. If you've ever felt inside that you are born again, like the Bible says, it's a wonderful feeling. But to get on with the church, I used to teach Sunday school, and the house next door we used we got so many kids that we had to use the house next door, which was a parsonage at one time, and we had classes there for different age groups. And my only regret that we had a little boy, probably 10, he was acting up, and I went to talk to him, and I'm afraid that I made him feel like he wasn't wanted. And of course he was, but I wanted him to behave and not disrupt the rest of the class. So I spoke to him, but he never came back again. And I've ever since then, many years ago, I've often wondered how he turned out, because I wasn't warm enough to his needs. He evidently needed some help of some kind. Excuse me. And then after that house was torn down, we bought the one on the corner, and that was the parsonage. And then we tore that down, and Jim Ricketts bought the one across the street, and that was the parsonage. And then finally we bought the one out at Tanview, and that became our parsonage until it was sold. So, but to get back to the church, everything was going fine. We kept losing parishioners, but most every church did. And it was heartbreaking to see that happen.
Now, you mentioned to me earlier a little bit about what happened to the old church where the foundation was starting to go away, and we had to basically, what was the demise of that? And even though that went down, there was what was the makings of the new church kind of back in the corner there. Could you go into that?
Well, the basement was cement and great big bricks, or stones. And the foundation started coming away, and we decided that we should take it down. We had this beautiful building here, and then we had a vote on it, and it did come down, but there were, I would say that 75% of the people wanted it because we were in the red at the time. And if we had lifted the building up to repair all the stones and the foundation, it would have cost us many thousands of dollars that we did not have. And so it was voted to take down, and it was down. And then we just used this building here for church and for Sunday school as well.
Now, there is something from that old church, if you show the picture again,
Yes.
that is still with us today in our new church. What would that be? The windows?
Pardon?
The stained glass windows?
The windows out of the church are hanging in the windows in this church. And then up on the stage, there's the big ones. They kept those together. The rest of them were the small ones that were colored.
So if you continue to hold that picture up for just a moment so I can zoom in on it. Now, imagine, if you will, right now is the front lawn of our current church. And our current church is actually in behind there. So we already had something to move into
Yes.
when this came down.
Yes, we did.
So when they took that down, we did save all the stained glass and everything.
They saved that and they sold that. And the pipe organ that was taken out of there was loaned to a fellow that could play the pipe organ, and he put it in his house, and he had it there for quite a few years, but it was still our pipe organ. And then the chairs, the 3 chairs that were up here on the stage were given to the Historical Society on Burdick Street, or Washington Street there. And then he decided he didn't want the organ anymore, so we got it back, and then somebody else took it, and I have no idea where the pipe organ is now.
Now you have another picture there of the 150th anniversary. Now where was that taken at? If you want to show that.
This one?
No, the one with you and your husband.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's go into that story.
This was our 50th anniversary, and about 14 couple got all dressed up, and we stood on the stage of this auditorium, and I have it somewhere, but I don't know where. So this is Marvin and myself, and we dressed up.
I love that dress that you have.
Pardon?
I love the dress that you were wearing there.
Oh, I made that.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I made that. And
Now, a little bit, kind of going back to, your youth in the church. What did you do when you were in like Sunday school, some of the activities you did there, and did you have a youth programs or anything that you would go out and do things?
well, we had choir, but of course I couldn't sing a note, so I wasn't in the choir. But we had youth group, and we met, and we did different things, raised money for different things, like they do now, that they're starting to do now. And we were more of a knit group. We were always together in church and in school. But it's been a wonderful...
If I remember right, there was a youth choir as well, wasn't there?
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson's youth choir.
Mr. Wilson had youth choir, and Ruth Curtis had senior choir. And it was... we had everything back then, and it was different. Church was different back then. But I've seen many preachers come and go, and families come and go, and I got something out of every message that was preached, And if you listen carefully, you can catch a message, no matter who's preaching. So, but all my children were baptized there, and all my grandchildren were baptized there, and some of my great grandchildren were baptized there. And of course, my kids were baptized in the old church, and instead of the new one. So, but it's been a wonderful Christian life.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are some of your fondest memories that you can go back and look at, maybe different periods in life that still resonate with you today, of activities that maybe have happened at the church?
Things that happened at the church. Well, Christmas was always nice. We had a beautiful Christmas pageant, and it was really nice. And then of course being able to help people that were struggling with life. I think that's the word I want to use. And help them see that life isn't as complicated as they make it out to be. Life, how do I want to put this? If you talk to the Lord every day and have Him in your life every day, not just when you want Him there, but have Him there all the time, you can get through anything there is that comes along. And I believe that the Lord is with me all the time, and I can ask Him anything. When I was working out in the cemetery, if I couldn't get something, I would ask Him, and it would come just as clear as could be. And I could do it, and I knew I could, and it got done.
Well, Shirley, I want to thank you so much for this interview. That's a perfect way of ending it. If there's anything else you'd like to add, I'll give you a moment here.
Well, just love the Lord. And He loves you regardless if you love Him or not. But I really enjoy being Oxford United Methodist person. Thank you.
Thank you very much.